All right. Joining us now for this week's roundtable chat is none other than current Baylor infielder Cole Posey, number 6 infielder. Second, what are we playing this year? Second base?
Yeah, man, it's gonna be second base.
I like
Thanks
it.
for having me on, man. I'm pumped to be with y'all, and man, it couldn't be a better time. We get rolling this next week. We actually play at Globe Life, Nebraska, Oregon, and then Tennessee on Sunday night. So we're going, getting right after it. So
But obviously, kind of just mentioned New Mexico and now at Baylor, but can you kind of share a little bit about your baseball journey from senior year where you played, just for everyone watching, and then kind of how you ended up at Baylor now?
yeah, totally, man. So it's I guess a lot of guys can relate. Um, so high school, ended up going to Boise State. It was a great fit. I loved it there. And then COVID hit, right? And then so after COVID hit, I had to transfer and because they cut the program, right? And so that was pretty devastating. Ended up transferring to the University of New Mexico for a couple years, where I was able to graduate, and then really with the goal in mind that I wanted to come back to Texas. And so this last year was my first year at Baylor, and then this will be my second year, and I'm finishing up grad school. But just so thankful to be back in Texas. We're Central Texas guys, and I love Waco. I love Baylor. My whole family went to Baylor, so it just means a lot being able to be at Baylor and wear that green and gold is pretty cool.
For sure, man. You mentioned you started off at Boise State. What aspects of your game do you feel you've improved the most on since you started there?
Yeah, man. It's kind of funny. I think I've always kind of had a pretty good glove, I'd say, like that was kind of my strong suit. I feel like one of the biggest aspects that I've been able to improve upon is really just kind of almost like the mental side of things, right? Being able to not make the moment bigger than it is and just kind of realize, it's still a game at the end of the day. And it's kind of funny how that takes time. And I guess that's why you see some of the younger guys that do have a lot of success. Um, it's because they kind of already have that piece figured out. And for some people, that takes a little bit more time. But I think that's probably the aspect for me that's I've improved the most upon.
There you go.
Awesome. We're joined again by Baylor infield Cole Posey. What's the most memorable moment you've had in your college baseball career so far?
Geez, there's been some good ones. There's been some really good ones. What I think back on, maybe at New Mexico, one of my best childhood buds, Jeffrey David, walked off Texas Tech at home in the bottom of the ninth,
Yeah.
with a Oppo home run. I think it was like a 2 or 3 run home run. That was pretty crazy. That was cool just because he's my boy. And I think Tech was like, geez, I think they might have been like 9 or 12 at the time. Like they were really good. And we walked him off. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So not even you, it's his teammate, man. Come on, this guy.
Yeah, that's a
Come
real
on.
teammate
Come on,
right
that's
there,
a teammate right
man.
here,
Yeah.
man.
Good friend,
No,
good teammate.
man, whenever you asked that question, that was one of the first things that popped in my mind. That was really freaking cool. I remember we were living together at the time, and I was like, dude, that's
You
pretty
went
big
nuts,
time.
huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
went nuts. It was cool.
Georgetown boys, man, Georgetown boys. But
Yeah.
kind of looking at it, obviously, you've been around the game now your whole life. Obviously, a lot of experience at the college level, and this is kind of a question we've asked all of our guys who have joined us the past couple of weeks, and we love seeing kind of the different viewpoints whenever it comes to how do you kind of approach your training and kind of conditioning as you go on during this long season to kind of stay at the top of your game.
Yeah, man, it's tough. And that's something that I feel like I've gotten better at as I've gotten a little bit older, just kind of knowing my body and knowing when to push it, but also when maybe I need to sleep in a little bit more, maybe I need to go a little bit easier. Like maybe there's one day I don't even need to go to the field. Like on my off day, don't even touch a bat, don't touch a ball, don't think about it. And so as I've gotten older, I feel like, there's been some days where it's like, I think the best thing for me right now is to go get some extra work in the cage. But there's other days where like I think if I were to do extra work, maybe that digs me deeper into a hole kind of thing. So really just kind of trying to balance that healthy relationship with the game. Um, that's been one of the aspects I feel like I've been able to grow in, and it's just been a maturity thing for me, I feel like.
Yeah. And we have some guys that are listening, that are at the high school level. And what advice would you give those guys that are looking not only to play at the D1 level like Baylor, but like just at the next level in general? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I think back on, my high school coach, Coach Foster, and he's at Angelo State now, and so many lessons that he taught us at that time where it was one of those things. It's like, man, why are we doing all this, these long practices, a lot of the stuff at the time, it's like, geez, man, I don't know if this is really like the best way to go about it or if this is worth it. But looking back on it now, he prepared me in so many ways. Really, just the hard work, the doing extra, kind of figuring out your identity as a ball player. And that has paid dividends later on because he coached me hard, but I was able through that to kind of coach myself and, seek the truth, figure out what I needed to do, what I didn't need to do. And that prepared me so well for the next level. So, for those younger guys, I mean, put in the work, kind of figure out your identity, and then don't be afraid to ask for help either, because there's coaches and guys all around you that want to help you out.
Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer. Now, what are the biggest differences? You've been at three different major programs. What do you think the biggest differences between those are? And now your time at Baylor. I know being home is good, so the parents and everybody probably get to see the games. But what do you think the biggest differences between those schools were?
Man, it was kind of interesting. I feel like I kind of got to really experience almost like three different levels. So Boise State, it was a first year program. They'd been on a 40-year hiatus. And so that was super cool because the town was just raving about it. They were super excited to have baseball back in Boise. Well, for a long time, they've had a minor league team there, the Boise Hawks. I think they might have recently changed the name. But to have the college program back, they were super excited about that. And so that was super cool able to, kind of start that and be a part of that. Then in New Mexico, man, it was cool. It was a part of an established program, a program that's had success in the past, and kind of just going in there and I really enjoyed my time there. I got to play with my best buddy. And so, I really enjoyed that. But then now here at Baylor, like I said, it's kind of been like my dream as a little kid. Like as a little kid, it wasn't, playing major leagues. It was really like playing baseball at Baylor. Like that was the
Yeah.
dream I can remember. And obviously Power Five has been awesome. Get to play some great competition and get to do some cool things like, opening up here at Globe Life against some great teams, So it's definitely next level and it's a blessing for sure.
Yeah, that'll be a great experience next week, man. That's awesome.
Sure. Totally.
Again, we're joined by Baylor infield Cole Posey. You talked about you're getting your master's now. What is your major, and what is your plan for after college if the next level does not work out?
Yeah, totally. So right now I'm a sports management. I'm in that program and I'm only have two more classes and I'll walk away with my master's in sports management. And so this semester's been pretty easy, just kind of finishing everything up. And just recently I took the LSAT and finished up applications and am applying to law school. So that's the plan. After this season. And I'm applying to all the Texas law schools and, hopefully something sticks and get to, hopefully Baylor, right? But if not, staying in Texas for sure. I've
Do
made
you
that
want,
mistake once. I've gone
all
too
right.
far. I'm staying in Texas this time.
Do you want to be an attorney, or do you want to be like a sports agent, like attorney, or what is that?
Yeah, so I think it would open up a good avenue with the sports management background, with being an athlete, being an agent would be cool, and obviously with NIL and conference realignment, there's a bunch of litigation that's
Opportunity.
going to have to be settled out here in the next few years. I probably can anticipate. I mean, NIL is wild right now.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that would open a cool avenue, but also, my dad does some lobbying, and I think that would be a cool avenue for me that I might like to pursue. So gives me a lot of options, I feel like.
No
Awesome,
doubt.
man.
Well, last question, kind of before we get you out of here. Obviously, you mentioned the team going to Globe Life. Big year for the squad. what are kind of your expectations and kind of goals for your team this year? And then if you have any personal goals yourself with this season over at Baylor?
Yeah, man, I'll tell you. So last year was a pretty rough year for us. We didn't, new coaching staff, a lot of new players, and it was kind of tough how it all came together, right? It was just kind of last minute. We just kind of got left with a little bit of a tough situation, right? But I feel like we made the most of it and really learned a lot about last year. This year, we definitely have some good guys coming in. We got some really good talent. And so I think the goal this year is most definitely finding ourselves in the Big 12 tournament, making our way into a regional and kind of seeing what can happen from there, right? But I think getting us a good spot in the Big 12 tournament, making some stuff happen, maybe making a run there, and then looking for something in the regional and maybe beyond, right?
Yeah.
And then I think personally for me, with this being my last year, is kind of just stop and smell the roses a little bit. I think it kind of hit me this summer. I was working an internship and I was like, this is really going to be my last year to live with like 3 other dudes, talk some smack, play video games in the living room, fun stuff like that, that you kind of take for granted, but also like playing baseball and just being able to enjoy that game and enjoy everything that comes with that. Because it's going to be short lived. I only have a few more months of it, really. So just trying to enjoy that and then be a good leader for the guys on the team. No matter how many wins, losses, playing time, hits, home runs, all those kinds of things, just really like take it in, enjoy it, be a good leader for these guys. And because it does go by so fast. It's crazy. I'm looking down the barrel of the last season, it's wild.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
Oh,
No
enjoy
doubt.
it, man. It's
Yes,
going to be
sir.
awesome. Yeah.
Not too. Well, obviously, if y'all can't tell, the man's got some style in the hat, the Hondo
Yeah.
Hat Co., part of Cole, and I believe your family, right? That's y'all's thing.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of been more my thing, but yeah,
There you
for
go.
sure.
I love it. We'll link that below. They got some pretty cool stuff. I could see Coop going and buying a hat right after
Yes,
this.
sir.
But man, we appreciate you joining us, Cole, and good luck this year. Last year at Baylor. Enjoy the ride, man.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate y'all having me on.
Thanks for coming on, man. Good luck with the law school and everything, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
We'll see you, man.
Awesome. See y'all.
All right. That was the roundtable chat of the week. Cole Posey, Baylor infielder last year, looking to get things turned around there.
I know I say it every week, but I mean, like, what was I doing? What was I doing when I was young? I was a dipshit.
I just know some good baseball players.
He must, yeah. It must be the baseball thing.
I know some good baseball players and some guys that know their shit when it comes to the books.
Did he went to Georgetown?
Yeah, he was at Georgetown High School, and I don't know why. I know at the start I said New Mexico. I completely blanked that he was at Baylor last year too, but second year at Baylor.
That's awesome. He's getting to live his dream, man. Play for Baylor, and it's a good school.
No doubt. Well, man, that was our roundtable chat of the week. Stay tuned for next week. We're gonna jump out of the college ranks for 1 week to one of my good buddies. He played at Baylor as well. A couple years ago, recently drafted 2 years ago now, I believe. Yeah. And stay tuned for that for next week. It's going to be a good one. Be on the lookout for who's joining us next, though.